Hey y'all, come on in. Welcome back. It's going to be part 4, I think, if I remember correctly, on Big Keith's heavy duty belt. We're getting ready to glue these things together. But before I do that, I want to just show you a step that I'm going to take. Up in your buckle end of it, I don't want these sharp edges out here where I actually cut the strips out of the side of leather. I want to just smooth, round them over. So what I've got is, these are just little tools. I don't know if you can make out that number or not. This is the number 2. They come in different sizes, but they're edging tools. And what they do, I don't know if I'll be able to do it that good without being able to stand up, but I'll try to so you can see what it does. And you just run it down the edge. You see how it's just curling the edge off the edge of that leather. Now you want this for a couple of reasons. Number 1, it just looks better, but then number 2, it keeps those edges from wanting to start to fray up on you. I'm doing this under the buckle end of it. You'll see why here in just a second. I'll go down to the end and see what it does. It just curls off that edge of the leather. So you can see how it just took the edge off of it. That's all it's doing. Getting rid of that sharp edge out there. I'm going to come down and get this other side now. Get that where y'all can see it. Doesn't take a whole lot of pressure. These things are very sharp. I normally don't run them towards my thumb, but that's the only angle I've got for you guys to be able to see what they do. Or you folks, rather. Keep saying guys, it's just a Texas thing, I guess. Everybody's a guy. And get down to the end of it. As you recall, I'm stitching the end of this, so I didn't round off the end of it like I did on the tip. Let me turn this around where I can get the tip of it. And you just do the same thing up here. But I'm doing this up here under the buckle because where it curves over to go through the buckle, once I get it assembled, it'd be a booger trying to get that area there cleaned off. I'll show you here what I'm talking about. Get the buckle through there. Oh, come on. You can see what I'm talking about now. If I tried to dress these areas up here, it'd be, I mean, it can still be done, but just save yourself some grief and trouble. Now's the time to do it, because we're fixing to put them together. Now then, what we'll do, I'm not concerned about doing the other side of it. It's going to go up here. It'll be sandwiched in between the two, because it's not going to be the outermost edge, so it's not going to be that. I mean, you can if you want to. You can come in on this one too, you know, and do it too. It's entirely up to you. But the belt loops on belts, I normally just stitch them into the side on a single layer. Now I just come in, I just stitch them down into here. Some guys like them loose where they can adjust them. I don't know Keith's preference. But I'm going to go ahead and tie this first one down, just because of the heaviness of that, of how heavy this belt's going to be. What I did, I just took a thinner grade of leather, got some of it here. I think it's 2-3 ounce, not very thick. And I went ahead and colored it. But since this is going to get sandwiched together, I stitched it to the inside of my back piece. I want to slide them together. Let me show you what I'm talking about. When these two pieces go together now, that's going to be about where it sits, right there. And then what I'll do is when I come in with my stitching now, I'll just come right up here to the edge of it, and I'll just squeeze it down. And that gives the appearance then that it's going in between both layers. Gives you a real nice clean finished look, and then the other stitching will come right up here to it. It just gives you a real good, my opinion, just gives you a real good quality finished look to it. So on the gluing part of it, I want to start up here. I'm going to glue this down as I go, along with stitching it. Only because I'm going to try to keep both of these aligned as much as possible. So I think what I'm going to do, let me back you guys up a little bit, because I'm going to need some room to move this thing around. I don't think you want to be up that close and smelling this glue anyway. I think there's going to be pretty good for you.
I was going to say, up close is one thing, smell the glue is another.
And our cat Rosie, one of our two cats that just really loves to help. When we break out the glue, then she is nowhere to be found after a little while. Get your towel down so you don't stick everything to the table. Alright, now's the time to double check all your stuff, all your work, and all of that. Are your marks lined up where you want to be? Once we start this process, it is a done deal. Make sure your buckle's on correct. Make sure it's on the right side, all of that good fun stuff. I'm not going to do this area up here right where the buckle is. That's going to be stitching, but I'm going to need that still kind of free to move around. That's when I start stitching it, it's going to want to move a little bit, not much, but it will. And I'll say it again, a very well ventilated area. I'm just going to come in and I'm not going to coat it just real heavy. All I need it to do just kind of help hold it together. Like I said, I'm going to do it as I go so I can keep it straight. Because I do not want this thing to move once I join them together. Do both sides. If you're working with children there, if you want to get some of those gloves, or even for yourself, that's fine. I try to just use my rags. Now this will have to dry overnight, so as far as I'm going to be able to take it today, but I'm going to get the entire length of it glued together. Another one of those drying things. Do not rush it. You're not going to be happy with your results if you do. I'll give you a little bit here, and then I think you're going to pretty much have the idea. I'm just going to do this all the way down the entire length. Now I'm going to let it get a little bit tacky. I'll fold that part of the rag over because I don't want that getting on the outside. I'll make sure I'm positioned where I want. And I'm just going to start laying it out. I'm just going to do small portions of it at a time. Reason being, I want to make sure I can keep it straight. And just put them together. Then what I do, just get you some of these clothespins. They have smooth edges, and they're not going to mar up your surface. Just put you a couple of them on there. This stuff dries pretty fast. Just let it sit there for a little bit. Now I'll give that a little bit of a chance to kind of dry up a little bit. Get those two pieces put together. And then I'll just keep moving on down. So that's the adhesive part of it there, Mr. Keith. He wanted to see every step of it, so I'll spend this evening getting the rest of it glued together, and then I'll let it dry overnight, and then tomorrow we'll stitch this thing together. Judy and I always like to end our videos with "Don't be mean." If you're not willing to treat Jesus that way, then let's not treat each other that way. We're here to have fun, make some stuff out of leather, hopefully learn some things. So hopefully until tomorrow, adios.